In this video we'll be looking at questions from page 20 in the Edexcel book, and the topic will be completing a square. So if you do have that book, feel free to turn to the actual page, it's page 20. If not, don't worry, we can, you'll be able to view the questions here. So I'll be looking at exercise 2C, okay, on page 20, and it's just a few questions. Now remember, I've said the first section is just to ease you in the transition from GCSE maths to C1. So some of this work you would have covered in your GCSE maths. So let's take a look at question 6. Okay, we've got 2x squared plus 16x. Now what you do, you take the 2 out, so we're kind of factorizing, if you like, and then it's 8x. Alright, now what you do, you just treat this as a separate entity, a separate thing. So what you have is you just complete the square on x squared plus 8x. Okay, so put the square bracket there. So remember, we divide this by 2. You don't include the x. You square it. You take away the square of this number, which will be 16. And then you can close the bracket. So right now I can't multiply this 2 with this x plus 4. Right, because there's a double bracket here. But I can multiply it by the minus 16. So if we open up the bracket again, get minus 16 times 2 will be 32. So that'll be my answer for that. Okay, just in case you're not aware of completing a square for simple questions. So if you had x squared, the first question is x squared plus 4x. Again, all you do, you just half this coefficient of x here, which is plus 2, and then you take away the square of this number, and then that'll give you, that's your final answer there. Right. So what if you're trying to complete an equation? So if you look on page 21, so if you look at page 21, so yeah, we'll look at page 21, question 1. So it's x squared plus 6x plus 1 equals 0. So now what you want to do is complete the square on this. So same thing, you just divide it by 2. Take away the square of that number plus that one. Okay, solve this. Next bit here. So minus 9 plus 1 will give you minus 8. And take that to the other side, I'll give you 8. And remember, to get rid of a square, we have to square root. Now the interesting thing is square root 8, if you know your surds, you can simplify this. So if I just come over here, square root 8 is the same as saying square root 4 times 2. So square root 4 is 2. And root 2 we just keep the same. So if we finalize this, what we're saying is plus or minus 2 root 2 and then minus 3. So that will be your final answer. Okay, and then we'll look at one more. Now question 1 didn't have a number in front of x squared. Let's do question 10. Because they tend to go from easy and then gradually get harder. That's 5x squared plus 8x minus 2, and that is equal to 0. So same thing again, you just take the there's two things you can do here. One, take the 5. Okay, divide everything by 5. So now what you have, okay, ignore this. Now what you have is you got x squared plus 8 over 5 x minus 2 over 5 equals 0. So that allows us now to get rid of the 5. So what we have now, we have something similar to what we did before, but the only issue is here we have fractions. But that shouldn't really matter, so what you do, just carry on as normal. So x plus, remember you would divide this by 2. So 8 over 5 divided by 2 will give you 8 over 10. So let me just do this here. That give you 8 over 10. Okay, if you're not sure how I've got this, you just do 8 over 5 divided by 2 over 1 as a fraction. You'll see it'll give 8 over 10. Remember, if you simplify that by 2, that'll give you 4 over 5. So I'm going to put 4 over 5 squared minus the square of this number, remember? So remember, when you're squaring fractions, you just square the individual numbers. It's simple. So 4 squared is 16 over 25, and that's minus 2/5, and then that will be equal to 0. Now remember, when you're doing this, it's 16 over 25 base, a minus fraction minus 2/5. Okay, so you got 16 over 25 minus 2/5, and then that will give you 26 over 25. So what we have here, okay, that will give us a minus 26, 25, and that will give you 0. Okay, so then once you've got that, you just take the fraction to the other side. Don't forget that square. And remember, to get rid of a square, we square root. So what you do, now to go plus or minus square root 5, and then you take that across. Remember, square root of 25 will be 5, so you've only got that left, and then that will be your final answer. Okay, so I mean that should help you with the other questions, so feel free to go back and do exercise 2C again, questions 1 to 12, and exercise 2D on page 21, questions 1 to 10. Thanks for watching.